How's my favorite sociology class this morning? Today, boys and girls, we're going to talk about two things in order to augment what we've been talking about all week. We've been talking about socialization. So we said there are some agents that contribute towards socialization. We talked about them in previous videos. We said family was probably the most important, so when we concentrated on yesterday, the peer group is probably second to that. Maybe school would come after that. We talked about institutions and groups as being a component of an agent of socialization. We talked about government as being an agent of socialization. Today we're going to augment what we did yesterday on family. We're going to talk about attachment theory, and we're going to talk about looking glass self. Attachment theory was first discovered, or at least written about to any length, by a guy named John Bowley. John Bowley was an English researcher, and he wrote about the importance of the caregiver in the development of children at a very early age. He said, or what he discovered was the caregiver, the immediate caregiver of children, should offer to the child three things immediately. They should offer warmth. They should physically touch the child, swaddle the child, offer warmth. They should provide eye contact, consistent eye contact all the time, and they should talk very warmly to the child. Those three things will help with the development of a child, will make a child feel safe, and when a child feels safe, then they will venture off on their own just a little bit, because they know if they run into trouble, they can run back very quick to the safe, supporting parent. Okay, this is called attachment theory. And what John discovered from this was that, from his research in this area, if a child didn't have those three things, if he didn't have, or she didn't have, swaddling, didn't have eye contact, didn't have constant communication in a positive manner, that this might contribute to the development of a child this might contribute to negative development, what society would deem negative traits. Now, if a child received all of those things, the child would most likely, not 100%, because nothing's 100% in relation to human development, but most likely developed confident individuals who will seek balanced relationships in the future. If they don't receive this nurturing that was just discussed, there will probably be a buildup of anxiety. If children don't receive the nurturing or swaddling or physical contact or eye contact or safe, caring voice response, they might have issues with anxiety. And if anxiety starts in very young children, there's an issue, and the issue is, we talked about anxiety before, and I said anxiety had two component parts, is arousal and fear. Well, if a young child becomes aroused from anxiety, it releases endorphins. What it does is it actually contributes to impede brain development. So it works against proper brain development. That's not good. We don't want that, because the goal here is in the study of sociology is to augment society, to produce good society. Our outcome should be so we understand how we can produce a better society. And that's primary in the development of a better society is attachment theory. Now, there's all kinds of studies that support attachment theory. There's one that we're going to talk about a little later. It's done by Harvard University. It's the longest longitudinal study ever done. And they studied people from, I believe, the 1930s, and the study is still going on. And they did all kinds of research, and what they discovered was children who felt loved and nurtured at a very young age, at a very old age, had significant reductions in health issues, whereas children who did not feel a strong attachment to a parental caregiver at a young age had a significant increase in health ailments. We'll talk more about that later. Next, I want to talk about Cooley and Mead. Cooley specifically was a researcher in the United States, and he patented the idea of the looking glass self. And we have talked about self-concept before, and self-concept is a component part of attachment theory. The more positive someone feels about themselves, the better their self-concept or self-image, what they think about themselves. Cooley went one step further with that ideology of self-concept. He said self-concept can also be augmented by how others see us, how we perceive others see us. For example, if I go out in society and I perceive that others view me in a positive light, my self-image, my self-concept increases. I feel good about myself. But if I go out in society and I perceive that others look down on me or look at me in a less than positive light, my self-concept then diminishes. And our goal here is to increase people's self-concept so that we can produce a good society. That's our goal, or at least it should be our goal. Any questions on that? Just send me an email, boys and girls, and have a good day.